So mindful management is as much about personal leadership as anything else. And the little catchphrase that came underneath this when the message came through from Julian, who said, right, you're talking about this. I was like, thanks, Jules, that's awesome. Craptastic. He knows what that means. So is this idea of creating greater connectedness in time-poor environments. One of the things that we've talked about has bubbled up in conversation a lot this morning. Connection. Connection. Connecting to self first. Most people are sleepwalking through their lives, and one day, usually sometime in their mid-40s, they suddenly wake up, and in fact, Talking Heads wrote a song about this. This is not my wonderful life. We're sleepwalking through life. Sleepwalking. That was a nice one. Thank you, brain, that was awesome. If we're doing that through life, then what the hell is happening when a bunch of us get together every day at work? We are creating our organisations by accident. We are not connected to each other, and we've started talking about time poor, time famine, and that's dangerous. It's dangerous language. So I found myself feeling a lot like this guy looks last May, because everything was awesome, to quote the song that didn't make it as the callback. Everything was so awesome that our business was growing at a pace that I was really struggling to work out how to keep a grip of. And we'd been there a couple of times before, but they'd been little bubbles, and you're sort of like, okay, it's all right, just breathe, just keep walking, just breathe, just keep doing the work. And I thought, that's all right, it all usually stops after about 4 to 6 weeks. We get these bubbles and then it goes away. And then it was August. And Paul, my business partner / husband, it's a bit of a thing in the TakeON area. Yeah. Let's just stop that conversation right there. Anyway, he started, the thing was that this is catching, right? This, God, shit, that's catching, particularly if you're a leader or if you're someone in a significant relationship together, it's catching. And what I found was there's those ubiquitous questions where we get the, so how's it going? Now, all of our clients, people in the room who've worked with us in the past few years will know that the answer was usually, oh, busy. Oh, that's good, great, lots of exciting stuff. Busy used to come with a smile. Busy started coming with my attention coming completely off them, going to the back of my head and going deep, deep, deep down into panic, into the long to-do list, into all of the stuff I didn't know how I was going to do, into, shit, where do we find more amazing people to work with, these incredible businesses who want to create change? It became a connection killer. It was almost like you could see someone snip with a pair of massive shears through any connection I had with that person in that moment. This is what life is like for a lot of us now. Not just at work, but actually life. You're struggling to fit everything in. I mean, everything. Your children, your family, your partner, your parents, particularly those of us who have aging parents, let alone all the crap that's happening at work. And we just keep piling more in. This is where this fallacy about time poor, we have exactly the same amount of time as we've always had. In fact, we've got more of it, because you're going to be alive and kicking longer than any generation in history. So are you happy to keep moving the way you are at the moment? Are you operating at your most effective? Are you connecting with your people? Are you connecting with your partners, suppliers, your customers, your kids? I bet they're the ones who are missing out more than anything. We're busy watching life go by, rushing, working out how to jump in, how to jump out, and we're about as connected as those people are to each other on the stage. There they go, standing, mind the gap, stand behind the line, don't talk to each other. I'm surprised they don't have their phones out. God forbid that someone should actually smile at me, let alone ask me a question. But we're not just doing it waiting at the station for a train. We're doing it at work. We're doing it with our teams. We're doing it with our peers. As leadership teams, we're doing it together. So those of you who have done any work with us will know this is one of my favourite models. Hands up those who've had me have a conversation with them about the stretch zone. All right, I'll see the rest of you later. But the stretch zone is great. If you know anything about Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's work in flow theory, this is where we are at our best. Everything is just working. We lose track of time. You know, I know, Joe, we were talking about your trip to the States and you're going rock climbing. When you get in the middle of a climb, attention's fully on it. Where's the next move? Where's the next hold? It just disappears. It's effortless and you're totally in the zone. That's good. What's not good is the panic zone. And that's a place that I find myself more and more often, and that's where mindful practice really comes into its own. The panic zone is somewhere you go because your brain does a little bit of something for you. It perceives a threat. Our brains are very, very good at this. That is why we are here and not the people whose bones are found in swamps. Our ancestors were really good at this stuff. They noticed what wasn't working, they noticed what might be a potential threat, but it's not an occasional thing now. It's in the moment, every moment, we are perceiving things as threats. So what our brain does is pump out a nice little cocktail of adrenaline and cortisol, so that our heart's racing, our muscles are primed with cortisol, blood's pumping, for the whole fight, flight, play dead, a little bit difficult with that much action going on. But you know, we're primed to do something, and then we can't. At work, we just sort of, you know, don't shake, don't have your voice shake, don't show it. So we have this going on all the time, and that starts to, particularly if we're not being mindful of it and we're not connected to ourselves, starts to impact on how we are with other people. The thing is, it's also in this day and age hooked into another little neurochemical called dopamine. And dopamine is a cruel mistress. Dopamine is the promise of good times. Yeah, but never fulfillment. It's what keeps the rats in the Skinner box going back and hitting the thing over and over again. And I haven't got mine on me, but your mobile phone, or that little email alert that pings up, you have a new message, that is hooking you into dopamine. And dopamine is really hard to get off. It affects the same part of your brain as cocaine and heroin and nicotine. So we have this wonderful thing, which is a real bit of a bugger when it comes to performance, when it comes to connection to self and connection of others. And it's partly to blame for this concept of time poorness that we think we have, and that's continuous partial attention. And that's a phrase that was coined in the mid-90s in the Silicon Valley, the first place to really start embracing digital tools and devices. And it means that we're never fully here. We're never fully with that person in the moment, or on the phone, or particularly in open plan environments, it's even harder. So how do we manage this? You know, the level of awareness and personal responsibility that it takes to really lift our game, because we can go around going, it's a bit like Blythe said about the blamers, we blame everything and everyone else for this. I'm too busy, everyone's really unreasonable, if they would just not do X, Y, and Z. Well, wake up, smell the coffee, get in the shower, and then look in the mirror. Because you are the only one. You know, organisations don't change, people do. The only way you're going to change is if you take some responsibility for it. And so there are some things to do when it comes to mindfully managing self, so that you can more mindfully manage others, more consciously lead them to a place of connection, collaboration, performance, enjoyment, fulfillment in life and in work, because there's nothing more that we spend our waking hours doing as adults in this life than at work. So why shouldn't we become better selves there? So we've got a 3-point plan for that. At Blacksmith we talk about a number of things, but these are 3 ones I want to sort of just quietly seed, like little plants, and then water this afternoon with about an hour of conversation. 3 ideas that it starts with you. Mindful management starts with you. And these are 3 things that you can do for yourself. They are practices. Leadership is a practice, like Phil was saying. It's a doingness, as well as a beingness. And this is where the mindful aspect comes in. Who are you being as a leader? How are you being? So 3 things. Create space in the pace, right? You can turn off your phone, you can put your phone on voicemail, You can do what I do, which is set an alarm on my phone at 9 o'clock at night, which says unplug. You know, you can create space. You have to mind your language. Language is a very powerful thing, and we'll talk about 3 elements of that. I know there are a number of conversations that have been bubbling up this morning around words and what they mean and the impact that they have. And the third thing is be positively contagious. Our limbic brains are open networks. We're all wandering around unconsciously, hogging into each other's emotional system without even knowing it. And if you're a leader in your business, you have the strongest signal of all. You are the most contagious. And the more awareness you can have of that and the more responsibility you can take for it, I tell you what, you little things and you start to notice how the vibe changes. So let's have a quick walk through it. Create space in the pace. That's three things under that, in my view. One is unplug, reflect, and refocus. What does that look like? Some examples from my own practice. I set my alarm for half an hour earlier in the morning than I really need to be awake, so that I can just lie there, actually, in the dark. Not snoozing. Snoozes are evil. Snoozes are evil. They're actually really bad for your brain because you start to get back into sleep cycle and you get dragged out. It's not a good thing. So do yourself a favour, set the alarm and then hit the off button. Just lie there in the dark and just sort of be with your body for a bit. It's actually really nice. Just sort of go, oh, toes. Toes, God, that bed feels really good. You know, it's like really just enjoy, really be in your body for a bit. Reflection, but you don't have to do it first thing in the morning. I'm a big fan of checkouts. I use the Pomodoro technique at work. If you're on the internet, put it in the little search button. I can see Sunny moving his head. Yeah, Pomodoro. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And take that time and just do something different. Go for a walk outside. Go lie down. We have a checkout space at work, a couch. Go lie down on the couch. Go make yourself a cup of tea and have a chat with someone you don't know. Whatever. Just get away. 2 minutes. Reflect, really connect in with what you're feeling. What's going on? What's important right now? What just happened? What's most important? Refocus. You know, where am I best to put my attention right now? How can I deliberately choose what I should be doing right now? What will have the most impact? Mind your language. And that starts with self-talk. How many of you actually listen to the rubbish that is going on in your head most of the time? A few people? Great. Don't believe 80% of it. It's not actually you, and that's a whole rabbit hole that we won't go down right now. But that part of and it's not even a monologue. Have you ever noticed how it's a conversation? No, it's absolutely ridiculous. What do you mean? I think she's got a point. You know? Self-talk, actually cluing into that and really listening it, and this is where journaling is really valuable. Journaling's a great tool. Use more stories, check the stories you're telling, because the stories you're telling yourself can keep you trapped in who you are. And conversation, and we've talked about that a lot today. Everything changes in the conversation. And the last one, be positively contagious. Those at table 12 might recognise the tiger. That is, as Paul quite easy, or look, a tiger shark. Yeah, good one. So, you know, we had a bit of a sticky patch in our business earlier this year. Things were really, really stressful. Everyone was strung out. It wasn't feeling great for a few weeks there. So one Friday, we took everyone out onesie shopping and decided that if you were ever feeling at a bit of a poo's place, you go put your onesie on. Pretty hard to feel crap when you're looking like a shark. So attitude, energy, and attention. I'm a great fan of car park check-ins. When you get to work in the morning, give yourself a bit of a talking to. Hey, how are we feeling? Make a feel-good playlist. Personally, my vote was for Pharrell. What is that song called? Happy. For the callback tune. I have it on my iPod if I'm ever feeling a little bit shit. I put it on and listen to it. Play music that makes you feel good. Music's amazing. And that is a 3-minute attitudinal adjustment. And your attention. If it's good for your kids, it's good for your team. Do not keep playing with your computer if they want to talk with you. Stop it. If your kids want to talk to you, stop what you're doing. Really give them, it's the most amazing gift. Demand other people do it for you. You know, I think the thing that's important to remember is none of this is big. It's all very, very small. It's that 1% better. And David Whyte has already been referenced today. That is a David Whyte poem that I recommend you read. I won't read it now because it makes me get a bit emotional. But that is where to start. You know, start close in. Mindful management is personal leadership. It starts with you. The better you are, the better you will be for your people, the better they will be, and the better they will be for the organisation, the community, and our country. Thank you.